I never did like that guy.
Welcome to Mike's Gaming Gala. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. Welcome to Mike's Gaming Gala. I'm Mike, and this week we're looking at Daryl Ginter's masterpiece, Popeye, for the Atari 7800, formerly published by Atari Age. Popeye comes in a professionally printed box, with a manual, and of course a new injection molded cartridge. Unfortunately, this game is no longer for sale on Atari Age, and as of the making of this video, it has not gotten a release from any other publishers. However, this was voted for by my channel members to be the review this month. A monthly poll deciding a game that I must review every month is one of our member perks, so if you're interested in participating in those, I invite you to join. Alright, enough with the waiting. Let's dive right into it. Turning on the game, you get an opening cutscene followed by the title screen. Here, you can choose between a 1 or 2 player game, and your difficulty level between Novice, Arcade, and Expert. You'll notice here that the Novice says Rev F beside it. This is to replicate the F revision of the original arcade that was used to cater to novice players. It's the same game with a few modifications. Starting a novice game, you'll instantly notice the first and most prominent change that identifies this as Revision F, the pink background. Nothing says, I'm a wuss and need Popeye to be easier than a bright pink sky. That said, if you're like me and you're really not great at the game, Novice Mode is a godsend, pink or not. If the pink really bothers you though, there's a code you can enter at the menu to make it black like it's supposed to be. We'll cover that later in the video. In Novice, the ladder in the center of the screen also reaches all the way down to the platform below, allowing you to either go up or down it, something you can't do in other difficulties. Popeye 7800 is a direct port of the 1982 arcade, Popeye. There are 3 stages, all of which operate on the same principle. At the top of the screen is Olive Oil, who is dropping objects that you need to collect. Of course, this won't be easy, as you'll have to compete with several entities working against you. The first is Brutus, or Bluto depending on which of his names you prefer. He wanders around each stage trying to attack you and must be avoided at all costs. Your difficulty level will dictate how aggressive he is, and he has several tricks up his sleeve that he'll use to try and get you. If you're on the same level as him, he'll throw bottles at you. You can punch these out of the air, but they're an annoying distraction and can trap you so that you get caught by other hazards. If you're above or below him, he can attack you by jumping or reaching down. So you won't want to hang out in these areas if it can be avoided. Thankfully, there's a quick animation that precedes these attacks, so if you're paying attention, you'll see them coming. In this first stage, there are 2 ways to counter him though. The first is available in all 3 stages, and it's Popeye's trademark can of spinach. At the side of the screen is a can of this green magic that moves from level to level. If you grab it, Popeye will be invulnerable for a short time. And if you can chase Brutus down while this power is enabled, you'll knock him out and into the water. This'll give you a short time of not having to worry about him before he crawls back up and resumes his attack. The second way of attacking him is much more difficult, and that is to hit this punching bag at the top that then drops a barrel. If you time it right, the barrel will fall on Brutus, incapacitating him for a short time. The next enemy is the Sea Hag. The sea hag will appear at the sides of the screen and throw bottles at you. Once again, you can punch the bottles out of the sky, but if you get trapped in the wrong spot, they can distract you from escaping an angry Brutus. In this opening stage, your job is to catch all the hearts that olive oil is dropping. The top left of the screen shows you how many you've collected, and you need to collect them before they fall to the bottom of the screen. If they land at the bottom, you'll hear warning music that tells you that you have a limited time to collect that heart before it disappears and you lose a life. Collecting all the hearts in this stage has Olive Oil bursting with love, and you're on to stage 2. Here, Olive is playing music, and it'll be your job to collect all the notes. You have some friends here, notably Sweet Pea in the top left and Wimpy at the bottom left. This is my favorite stage. I'm not sure why, but I find it easier than the others. One cool thing about Wimpy is that he's standing on a seesaw, and if you jump onto the other side of it, he'll rocket you up to the platforms above. Great for getting back up to the top of the screen quickly, as well as giving Brutus the slip. Grabbing all the falling notes, we're on to the third and final stage. And guys, this one gets on my nerves. Stage 3 has you on a ship, and your precious olive oil is trapped in the crow's nest. You'll be catching her cries for help in order to build a ladder to rescue her. But in addition to the already annoying Brutus and Sea Hag, you'll have to deal with this dick of a bird. On the face of it, this guy isn't so bad. And unlike the rest of the enemies here, you can punch the bird in the face and knock him out to get yourself some points. The problem is that he swoops through the screen and can attack you at angles where it's impossible to avoid him. It's just plain rude. Even when he's charging right at you, sometimes he dodges and weaves to avoid your punches. To be fair, this is self-preservation and every creature has a right to it. But I wish this bird would just accept his punch so I can move on. Anyhow, this is easily the most difficult stage. You have that additional enemy as well as a layout that makes it difficult to maneuver easily. On the top platform, there's a conveyor belt kind of thing that transports you from one side to the other, and can be very convenient for picking up letters. But you'll have to be careful about when you try to get on it, because it takes off by itself as well. A mistimed movement could have you plummeting through the gap to the perils below. Grabbing all the letters and completing the ladder, you finally rescue Olive Oil, only to loop back around to stage 1 to continue for points with added difficulty. The most apparent added difficulty being these skulls that fall down the screen and can really ruin your day. At least they're punchable. Okay, now that we've looked at all the stages and seen what needs to be seen on a difficulty level that I can handle, let's look at Arcade and Expert. Aside from now having the proper black sky in the background, you'll notice that the ladder here is shorter. This means that you can climb down it, but not up, making the center of the playfield a much more dangerous place to be. Other than that, as difficulty levels get higher, the enemies are more aggressive and faster. On the first screen in Novice, the top platform was a bit of a safe haven from Brutus, but not here. He'll jump and smack you off of there like it's nothing. Heading over to Expert, the speed and intensity of the attacks are brutal. Oh, and that skull that until now has only appeared when you pass stage 3? Yeah, that's a stage 1 thing now. Okay, last but not least, want to know how you can play Novice without that garish pink background making you feel weak? At the main menu, press right, down, up, down, and you'll see the Rev F disappear from Novice. This allows you to play at the easy difficulty level, but with the proper black screen. A big improvement, I think. No matter what difficulty level you play at, when you lose all your lives, it's game over, and you're given the opportunity to enter your initials onto the high score table. And that's Popeye for the Atari 7800. So what did I think? Well, like I said at the start of the video, this is Daryl Ginter's masterpiece. If you're a fan of the original arcade, this is as close as you can get. There are a lot of neat details in how this was made that you wouldn't even think of just playing it. On the Retro Bliss Rewind podcast, we actually interviewed Daryl and he told us all about it. So if you have any interest in everything that goes into making a game look and play so great on the Atari 7800, I'll link that interview here. Daryl was an awesome guest. This is a highly sought after game, and it's easy to see why. I really hope that it gets re-released at some point because resellers are charging a mint for it. Obviously, as a port of a Nintendo game, it's big time copyright infringement, so unfortunately, that isn't likely. If you can find it, I'd recommend it to anyone and everyone. It truly is superb. Thank you for watching my video, I hope you liked it, and thank you so much to my channel members for voting for this one. Daryl is a great guy, and I was looking forward to doing it. As always, my contact info is in the description, and we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.